Make Your Mark podcast, where we are going to be talking about helping artists break through the noise and talk about their experiences in music. I'm Sol.
And I'm Greg.
And today, we're joined by a very special guest, Ryan Brown.
Hello.
From the band Titan.
What's up,
Hi,
man?
guys.
A little
How
round
you
of
doing?
applause.
Yeah. Round of applause, man. How you doing?
I'm good. I didn't realize we were rolling. I thought we were still doing the intro.
I mean, organic intro.
Yeah.
JRE just jumps in. He just says, "What's up, dude?" At the end of the day, you know, there is a specific reason we're here. Kind of gave you guys an idea. But basically, I just think these conversations are very necessary. The conversations about how to define yourself in a very oversaturated market. This isn't just about our particular aspirations. We're musicians, but there's a lot of other industries where it's not easy to make a name for yourself. So, in the process of defining yourself and making yourself stand out from the crowd, we figured we would just start talking about what we've been through.
Right.
You know, which is a lot already. There's a lot of tea to spill, and hopefully it can help somebody. You know, we'll have people on with us and see what we can knock out, see what happens. You know.
Absolutely. I'm stoked about this. Like, Ryan, man, like, Titan Fest just got announced. Like, what was Titan Fest's journey, bro? Like, how do you, like, what happened to get here?
Well, first of all, thanks, boys.
Yeah,
Appreciate
absolutely.
it. Thank you. So a lot of people have in the past connected it to like what the old version of the band was before it changed and the members became who they are now. And it was actually originally just a Halloween house show that we did at my house. And that was it. It was just like, yo, we're doing like a house show at Titan Tower, and that was it. And then at the show, everyone was like, oh, it's like a little festival to start your own little Titan Fest or whatever. So the unofficial version is like a Halloween house show. COVID happened. Everything went haywire. We went on hiatus. And then when I was like, I stepped up to be the vocalist, and then we had new members added, I was like, fuck it. We're going to keep it just Titan because people call us that for abbreviation.
Mm-hmm.
And then our first show back will be Titan Fest because we wanted to start growing that name. And I figured, you know, let's just do it. So the first one was at Holy Diver, and it was 6 bands, which I know it's not a fest, you know, but
It's a pilot for a festival.
exactly.
Yeah,
It literally,
exactly.
it was just getting the name established, and it was the same night as Suicide Boys. So,
Ooh.
and I was like, oh, there's going to be no one that shows up. We still ended up with over 200 people that showed up. So in my eyes, 200 people at Holy Diver, success.
That's okay.
So yeah, especially for our first show.
Absolutely.
And then the next year, we didn't do it the next year because it was still like dealing with like the whole COVID thing and
Kind of coming out of it.
yeah, and like, you know, there's a lot of other stuff going on. But 2023 happened, and I was telling Greg, you know, right when 2023 was happening, like, yo, I want to bring the festival back. And he was like, we should go on tour together. I was like, let's have Titan Fest be it. So I was supposed to do Cafe Colonial and Colony, but then the Colony shut down 2 days or like 3 days before
Yeah,
Titan Fest.
I remember this. This was
I remember when that
crazy.
happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was nuts.
Yeah, and so we had to shove 10 bands into the cafe into one day, and everyone killed it. We started at like 5 o'clock sharp, and we were done with our set and everything by 11, like right on the dot. It was crazy how every band knew the drill: get on, get off, play your set, whatever. And then everyone was like, we need to do it again, and I was like, I want to do it my way. And then I was like, I want to travel this. I want to travel it. So day 1, Sacramento. Day 2, Manteca. Day 3, Bay Area. And that we ended up with over 800 people throughout the whole weekend,
Damn.
which was pretty great because I didn't think it was going to be that successful. I was really scared.
Yeah, I mean, like, what are like some of the struggles of like starting a festival like that you've seen?
Believing that it's going to work out.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because, and I say this with like, you know, really good example. The festival we played last night, it had a bunch of great bands on it, but when you don't do proper, like, you know, promoting because you're changing the flyer around or you're adding bands and taking the bands on, and it's only a month of promoting this thing, like, and you don't have a structure of how to get people there, you're just believing on faith that they're going to show up, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. And I pride myself on the ability to bring people and choosing the right bands to bring those people.
That's very important.
Yeah.
And I've had people in the past kind of be like, oh man, you play favorites. I'm like, no, I play business. People say, oh, well, you know, AMN's a good example. I've had somebody ask me, okay, AMN's playing 3 years in a row. I'm like, because Greg and his band provide a service on top of playing. They bring people for one, they put on a good show for two, and three, Greg is like, hey man, I'll help you do this, I'll help you do that. Go focus on this, go focus on that. Sergio, same thing. They want to be a part of the event just as much as they want to play it. That's who I look for.
Yeah, like last year, I was the production manager, and like that was really cool. Like I got my foot in the door with like festivals, and I've already been doing production, so like I always like look at that festival, and I was like, it ran successfully because of the people in place, and yeah, it's like yeah, we're here and we're playing it again, but it's deeper than that, and you see the struggles that come with a festival, like you were saying, and everything, and it's really easy for people to sit there and go, I'm in a band, I make great music, the music's going to speak for itself, or like the festival's going to speak for itself. Without proper like promotion, you're never going to break out of that noise. It's just how it is. And I hate to say that, but it's not like the MySpace days where you could post a song on your page and people have it all over the place and it kind of spreads like wildfire. You have to promote it now. The algorithm is something that you have to play with. And if you don't play with it, you kind of shoot yourself in the foot, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
That's like my view on it.
And as time goes on, too, there's a lot more people trying to do the same thing, too. Like the internet is not a physical space, but it keeps getting bigger. There's a lot more people that are, like when you try to even name a band, how many times do you look up that name? It's like, oh, yeah, there's 7 other projects, big projects or not, that already are using that domain. So branding in every way, naming your band, figuring out if you guys want to all dress a certain way, making yourself that group that people want to pay attention to as opposed to thousands of other options. Because everybody's feed looks different, and there's so many other people trying to get people's attention that, like, how do you differentiate yourself? That's something that we're going to be talking about for hundreds of episodes.
Oh, yeah.
We're not going to give you the answer on day one, folks.
Sorry, that's not happening.
We're just opening this up.
The answer is do something that no one else is doing. And if you're going to do something that someone else is doing, you better do it bigger or better.
Mm-hmm. You can be the best at something that's been done before.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think Lionel Richie said it best, and like I always like think about this quote because I think when he said this, and this goes off to like with Titan Fest too, it's like, Ryan started something so small, and then it got bigger, and it got bigger. But I was watching American Idol, and Lionel Richie was like, you have 30 seconds to gain my attention, and you have one song to make me a fan. Now make me a fan. And I thought about that for a long time, and I was like, if you want people's attention on your festival, your band, whatever you're doing, how do you break out of that? Well, you got to grab somebody's attention, and 30 seconds is probably generous at that. I think they got 10. If you're not out the gate swinging, people they scroll. They doom scroll.
Yeah.
And they'll just whoop right past you, and you may have the best song in the world, but if it doesn't grab somebody's attention, or the festival doesn't grab somebody's attention, or whatever you're doing and to promote it isn't there, it's so hard because there's, like you said, thousands of bands out there. And how do we get our voice being heard throughout all these bands?
Can I segue off of that?
Totally.
Because this is how. This is not how exactly, but this is the purpose of the festival. So we could agree 90% of bands never do more than a 300 cap room probably. If they're lucky, they'll hit 1,000 cap room. If they're lucky. And I say that.
Opening for somebody else a lot of the time.
Exactly.
Right.
But that then
100%.
is a long shot. It's really rare.
It's hard.
So, and all of us, my man over here is doing big things. Okay. So Greg and I, all right, we're going to share this moment together, Greg.
Getting out of the trenches, man. We're getting out of the trenches.
Playing a festival is like, dude, I want to play Aftershock. Every year, all, the local bands are like, we want to play Aftershock, build a stage, make a stage. Do what Warped Tour did in, 2010, 11, 12, having, the small stage. Why are you pinning these bands against each other for a spot for one fucking day? That makes me so mad because at the end of the day, like a good example, I was trying to get us on that Warped Tour thing that you guys all posted. I still cannot. I made 7 different accounts trying to get past submit a video, and it just refuses to let me. So I gave up. But circle back to the festival. The reason why Titan Fest exists is because I am not a big band. I'm not the biggest band. But if I bring a community event that is bigger than everybody else, including us, then everyone's going to be able to say, I got to play a festival. I got to play in front of this many people. I got to be a part of something bigger than my, what we do. And so that's why I outsource getting bigger bands like Reminiscence or Decay or, like these bands that we've looked up to. Because I've looked up to Decay and Remy for the last 10 years, which is crazy to think that they've been around for 10 years because I remember I was like hearing about them. I'm like, dude, I want to be at this level so bad. Never thought I'd actually call them my friends. But here we are.
Yeah. I mean, it's all 3 degrees of separation in music, honestly, man. Like, and I think like the higher up you get, even like local bands, when you start breaking out of the regional market and you starting to try to get your way, like you're gonna eat dirt a lot.
You better get used to it.
Like it sucks. Like people that get emotional about the fact that, oh, I didn't get picked for Warped Tour, I didn't get picked for Aftershock. I'm like, dog, that's just the game.
Yeah.
There's so many more no's than yeses at the regional market, and everyone wants to go regional, but they don't realize you will go play a show in front of 3 people in the middle of Tucson, Arizona, or Phoenix, Arizona, wherever that was, and you will play to no one.
Yep.
After driving for 7 hours.
Exactly, and you'll have 100,000 streams on your song, and it doesn't even work.
Yep.
And you're like, I feel like I'm owed this, and you're not. Like, you have to earn every bit of it, and it's so hard.
That's why I agree with a lot of people that do say that touring now is a little bit more important, as in the physical interactions. Yes, digital will always triumph with reach, but to have returning people to come back, it's because you had a great interaction with them, and they're like, dude, saw these guys, are nice. Even like, and I'm going to say it, even if you smelt bad, someone will remember you. If you smelt good, someone's going to remember you. But if they never get that close to you, they're just going to be like, oh, yeah, I recognize your band name, but I don't know.
Yeah, also, if I can add to that, there's the relationship with the band changes when you see them live.
Yeah.
Also, I like every single time, if I find a song online, that's great. Like recently, I found a band called Sacramento. They dropped a song recently called Deadbeat, and they caught me
shared that
immediately.
Yeah.
I think Sean from Decay has been working with them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Filthy Breakdowns, they did a partnership or something, but I want to now go see them in concert. I know they're brand new, but that's just an example. Whenever I listen to a band, especially for years, and then they're touring through my area, and I go and see them live in concert, maybe meet them after their set, from that day forward, your bond with this group of people is different. You start to care more, and you listen to their music not just because it sounds good, but because you want to support them. Maybe they made your night and were nice to you at a meet and greet, inspired you to push harder for your own musical aspirations, whatever it is.
Right.
When you make that human connection, that relationship, it doubles, it exponentially grows. So bands touring is so valuable. Because then also, when they see you at a show, they see you perform, they also will want to support you more, and that translates to merch sales and concert tickets. And so in that way, that's where the money is. If you do well selling merch online, I guarantee it's because you do better selling merch at shows.
Right. And like, actually, to go off of that, too, because that's like a really good point. Like, you have to invest in your business. This is, you may have the most fun in the entire world, but you have to have a good design. You have to have good production. You have to give a good artwork. You have to get people's attention online. Like, all these things are very important, and it may seem so, we can DIY, and only DIY goes so far sometimes, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then, to go off of that as well, touring, like the mental strain of that, nobody talks about that.
Nobody knows.
Like,
we're in the trenches.
It's so lonely.
It's so
you might be around people, but it's lonely. And when I say that, it's because you don't have a moment to be by yourself. And this is like full mental health. Take care of yourself, because
Personal space is at an all-time low.
Oh, and then you feel like you're never alone, but you're alone at the same time because you're like, I can't even like think for myself. I can't be for myself.
Yeah.
My AirPods are my bedroom on tour.
Right, and then all of a sudden you catch a whiff of somebody farting, and you're like, "I'm gonna murder you," and then you're like that's day 3.
And in the 15-passenger vans too. I mean, you can roll down the driver passenger doors. But
side doors
other than that, they got those push-out windows where you get a little breeze and we always, when we're on the road and somebody rips ass, we drop all the windows immediately. Like nobody even says anything. Somebody points out the fact that it smells like butt ass, and they drop the windows, and it happens all the time because there's no way to get around it. If you're in the van for 8 hours, somebody's gonna do something foul.
Right.
And you all have to be around each other in the most intimate way possible. If you're roommates, it's less intimate.
Yeah. People think it's I live with these people. No, it's not the same.
You're sleeping 18 inches from people.
You can be the best friends with somebody and then get in a straight up argument with them for days.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just we're working together, and then day 4 you're like, all right, we're gonna finally talk about that. And yeah,
there's methods. You absolutely have to deal with issues as soon as they happen.
Right.
You can't go to bed angry. You're a team and you're supposed to operate as a cohesive unit.
Right.
And it's so important. It's gonna negatively affect what you're doing if you don't handle personal problems.
Right. Ryan, how do you handle the road, bro? Because you've been on the road a few times now since you became a vocalist. You've been kind of traveling a lot more now.
We're trying.
Yeah.
No, we have a lot actually. We have a full month we're doing in August, so I'm been mentally and trying to vocally prepare myself for that, because 26 days is a long time for me at least. But the last one we did was actually a fucking nightmare. Horrible nightmare, because I the first night was great. We did the Harlow show with Oceano, and it was awesome. Ooh. Then the next day we go out to way out in a venue called Fuego in Grover Beach. It was so fun. Yeah, it was so fun. But I fell into some bushes and I got called hive attacked by spiders. And my entire right arm was swollen so bad I had to go to the hospital. And I had bites all over my arms and swollen.
On tour, you had to go to the
and I was on the whole tour, dude. I was itching like a fucking meth head, dude. I was playing. We have a video on our YouTube of us playing the Fuego set. You could see me itching my arm and picking at it during the set because it hurt so bad. My arm was on fire the whole time. So the whole tour, I was fucking miserable, and I was so I was I can't think of the word, agitated the entire time. I would just be sitting there, mind my own business, with an ice pack on my arm, trying to get my arm cold. And I would someone would say something, and I'm just I want you to just stop talking. Just stop talking. Just stop talking. But they all knew how much pain I was.
That's real, though.
Dude, everyone saw how bad it spread all over. And then when I went to the doctor, he gave me a bunch of shots, and he's like, dude, do you want to stay here for 24 hours? We should monitor this. I was like, I'm on tour. I can't. I was like, I'm nowhere close to home right now. And he's like, okay. And he gave me a couple shots, and then he gave me a bunch of medication. And it was a fucking nightmare. Besides that, though, the tour was great. But
of course, but tour was awesome though. I love it.
Yeah, but
I love my job.
It's something like that where you don't expect to have a member go through something, and then that happens. And then Hector's a good example. He was going through a passing of a family member, and he didn't tell anybody. Oh, I hit my face. He didn't tell anybody, so we had no idea. So he's mentally and emotionally distraught the entire tour, not talking to anybody. Exactly.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing you don't do.
Exactly.
You have to bring it up. You have to let people help you through your shit, because it's going to affect the whole team if it's affecting you.
Yep.
It's the bottom line.
So me and him, we were at each other's throats every single show because I didn't know what was going on with him. He knew what was going on with me, but I was just so frustrated about everything. And besides that, the tour was great. I did a lot better than I thought I was going to do with my situation, and everyone in the band did good with the situation.
Good.
But yeah, it definitely set me up to be, and it also humbled me a lot to remember that some bands never tour. I should be stoked about this. I might be in pain, but I need to be happy. And that's what's made me, this 2025 makes me so excited for the festival, for, you know, the tours that we're doing and everything. And I'm booking everything myself. I don't fucking outreach to anybody. I try, and then people go, yeah, I'll help you. And then it goes, that's as far as it gets. So, and then I end up waiting for weeks. So I've learned to just do everything myself.
That's like the hardest part. I mean, like, even for like us, you guys have a booking agent, or you just have a manager?
We have management. It's a Reclaim Music Group.
Oh, okay.
So, like, you know, there's a team around us, but we're just not on a label.
Right. Yeah, like, even for us, like, we have a homie that hooks us up, like, for shows, and does, like, the work for us. Because it is a lot. Like, touring, you also, out of nowhere, one of us is in the hospital. Like, that's just crazy. Like, you know, for AMN, we have
Sergio, yeah.
Yeah.
And Sergio's going through dialysis every other day.
Sergio's a soldier, man.
Like, after a while, you kind of ask yourself, like, how bad do you want it? Because, you know, 3 days, sleep exhaustion, like, is kicking in. You've played so many festivals. Still saying, we always ask, you know, each other, like, how bad do you want it? And, like, I think it was, like, day 3 of our last tour. It was Jesse's first tour. Like, he's, like, doing a bigger tour than he's ever done. He's always done weekend runs. And he sat there and talked to us, and he was like, dude, I cried. Like, I cried. I was emotionally exhausted. I was beat to crap. Like, and I'm like, yeah, welcome to the road. Like, it's so brutal. Like, you'll get 3 days in and you've had like 12 hours of sleep.
Yeah. And you've had 12 hours? Wow.
Well, because we
I
didn't
mean,
have...
to us, that sounds like a lot.
I know.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I'm like,
you know, it's like you're on rotations, like 4 hours driving, and then you keep cycling. And, you know, you get to the venue, you get set up, you do everything, and everybody's ready to go, and you're like, yo, who's exhausted out of their mind? Like, they're going to go to sleep probably. And they go and take a nap. And, like, you take that nap, and you try to, like, keep your mental health as good as you can. And... it's like you said, like, there are people that have never toured. I worked at a music store, and there was a guy who's like 60, 68 years old, played music his whole life, never toured.
Okay.
That's crazy to me, but also at the same time, it makes me so grateful to be able to do that, because a lot of people don't get that experience. But it is one of the hardest things to do as an artist. And it's when you're not making money, you got to keep, like, chasing the dream of wanting to be able to make money and, like, do the things. And, like, it's not so much about the money. It's like, I want to meet new people. I want to go travel.
You need money to keep going.
Yeah, you need the money to keep going.
You want to have stories for your children.
Yeah.
Right.
You want to go see the world and experience things.
And we look up to bands like, you know, regardless of what anyone says, Knock Loose is doing amazing things for the music industry.
Yeah.
Spirit Box doing amazing things for the industry. Sleep Token.
Yeah.
That's a band that's so controversial because a lot of people just either into it or not. There's just one or the other side. Like, nobody's just like a half-in fan.
And both of them help the band.
Right.
Fans and the haters. You guys are both helping us.
I'm like literally, I'm going to say it right now. Like, Ronnie Radke and Attila, they have the biggest haters, but they're both very successful.
Exactly. But then you see people like them and they're selling out arenas.
Clout pays. It's you could say what you want about the person personally, but if you are paying attention to them, they're still winning. That's something that everybody should understand.
Yeah.
Right.
If you don't want someone to win, don't talk about them.
You bury them in indifference.
Silence.
You know, like, just make it obvious that you don't care. That's how you make those people go away.
Yeah.
But nobody does that.
No, but I think that's the point, though. Like, who's got time for that? God, the animosity that some people will have, like, you're only hurting yourself
and your own mental health.
I promise you, it's not worth it. It just
No.
It gets to a point where you're just like, I don't care enough about everyone else's crap because I'm in the hospital day whatever on tour and I'm exhausted out of my mind.
Yeah.
And it's like somebody walking into your house and being like, your dishes are dirty. And you're like, I live here, dude. Shut up. Like, I'm the one that has to deal with it, not you.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be able to handle your own shit. And people that want to be so concerned about everything else, I'm like, dog, you have not had this kick you in the teeth yet, have you?
No.
Because it's fun. We love it. The minute you get kicked in the teeth the first time, you'll never forget it because you're like, holy crap, I don't have energy for anything else other than what I'm focused on.
Oh yeah,
Because you just can't.
there's different phases of every tour. I mean, there's I would say the first week is something because you are kind of dipping into it. You're getting used to van life, bus life, whatever you're doing.
Right.
But you know, you're still adjusting, right? Like for me personally, my sleep schedule flips literally backwards because I'm an early bird when I'm working my day job. Thank God I have a day job in the touring life because I mean, it keeps money stable. But anyway, you adjust to the tour life the first week. After that, you're kind of like in the deepest portion. The middle section, you know, could be like the month in the middle of the first week and the last week where you're just fully immersed and you're not thinking about home. You know, you're so deep in the grind because maintaining yourself, like even simple stuff like going to Walmart to get immunity shots.
Yeah.
Like taking care of yourself, brushing your teeth when you don't have a sink, like little things like that.
Right.
People don't expect, you know, like having to pull your suitcase out of the trailer just to change your clothes. Like your routine gets just a little bit more complicated, a little bit more irritating, and it's not like regular life at all. So you get deep in that, and then when you start to taste home, you know, like I'm about to get on a plane and go home, whatever. Then you know, you have to kick yourself a little harder because you're like, you know what, I'll be back in the regular swing, the real life very soon, but I have to finish this the right way.
That post-tour depression.
There's that. There's that. I will say though, that's a little bit easier to deal with when you've been out for a month plus.
That makes sense.
A little bit, just, you know, like there is post-tour blues. I'm not going to say there isn't.
Yeah.
But I come home, I sleep for 2 days.
Oh, yeah, I bet. Like, how bad is your post-tour depression, Ryan? Because mine is terrible. I'm like, I want to go back.
It sucks, yeah. Yeah, like, I could stay out here, you know?
Yeah, when you have a significant other, it's hard. Because like
I feel that too.
Yeah, when you have a significant other, you're sad on the road because you're not with them, and then when you're home, you're sad that you're not on the road, and
It's so
and then
conflicting.
they feel like it's their fault, and they kind of like throw it on them. Well, I'm not saying they're all like that, but you have sometimes they're
Every
like, well, I
relationship
can't.
is different.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah, I
help you
mean-
or whatever. I'm not in a relationship anymore. I'm just talking about like during the last relationship or the last relationship I was in is when I did a bunch of touring, and so I was like back and forth with like. Being stoked to be on the road, being sad that I'm on the road, being stoked that I'm home, being sad that I'm, you know, and then I have a significant other that's like, well, I'm trying to make you feel better, but it's not working because you're sad because you're not with your band. And then they have like their own problem. It's a whole fucking story. Anyways, but when you're single, it's so much fucking easier to just do whatever you want.
Yeah,
It leaves you a little more mobile. Actually, if I can add to
Yes.
what you just said as well,
Yeah.
there is a bit of a severance when you become a touring musician, like because you're not the same person as when you're at home. You know, if you have obligations, relationships, anything like that, that obviously stay at home, you fall in love with this dynamic of being on the road and playing a show every night, and just the way that it feels to be on tour. And then you come home and you go back to normal life. You appreciate that, but then you start to miss the road.
Yep.
And then, so it is like, that's something to be said for artists have to find that balance where they appreciate both and they're present in both when they're there. Like when you're missing home and you're on the road, remember you'll be home, but you're on the road right now.
Yeah.
And when you're at home, remember to appreciate your family, the people who support you, your bed,
oh my God.
your
Your
bathroom.
bathroom.
Exactly. All that type of
Yeah.
stuff. And you will be back on the road before you know it. Like
Yeah.
that's very important for any artist with touring aspirations to understand that you need to be fully present in both sides of your life.
I want to
Pro tip though, get some dude wipes. Dude wipes will save your life.
Absolutely. Yeah, because
I'm
depending
not
on
sponsored, but
Chris
dude
is just
wipes.
over there.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Something I hella want to add though is that like I want people that are not touring to understand though that like even the big artists, no matter how big you are, like we're all dealing with the same emotions of not being home or being home. like playing music and not playing music. You could I don't care who you are. You could be like, oh, I love touring. I could do this every day of my life. That's fine. You totally can. And that I'm not saying you can't feel that way.
Real road
but
dog.
at the end of the day, that person that says they do that, if they did that for 3 years straight, they'd go home. They would have the worst depression of not doing it. So you almost put yourself in a box when you're like not allowing yourself to, adapt or, or even like embrace it. So I feel like it's better to embrace, like you were saying, the home life and the band, touring thing. You have to embrace both so you could adjust when you're not doing one or the other.
It's that work-life balance, honestly.
Yep.
Like I love how I had a conversation with Ricky Hoover from Of Sulfur, and he goes, it's 97% BS and it's 3% fun. And he's like, and that 3% is like a drug.
Yeah.
He's like, and I was like, yeah, dude, I don't understand
fix.
how people get like hooked on drugs. Cause like I get on that stage and I'm like, what just happened?
The rest of the world does not exist.
It doesn't exist. And like, I'm like, I think like, cause we just released that song SL2, like, and it was so.
Say the full name.
Silver Lining Part 2.
Silver Lining Part 2. Go stream it.
Stream that. We did a music video over 8 months, and being on stage, you don't really see the crowd as much as you would think you do, even as a front man. I don't care what anyone says. Those lights are blinding you, and you're just kind of in the moment.
They're pointing at the crowd.
You're
Right.
just short.
So are you.
That's why I said it, because I can't see anybody.
Hey, how do you think I feel? I'm sitting down.
And you're
I
in the
don't see
back.
shit. I don't see nothing.
But I think like there was a moment in that music video where I reached out and I grabbed somebody's hand, and I don't remember that. Because I was so in the moment. I was just living it. And looking back on that music video, I got teary-eyed. Because I was seeing the way that the fans engaged with me, the things that I miss out on, and, dealing with my own anxieties.
Of course.
Like, I have anxiety like crazy. And I think, like, Noah Sebastian from Bad Omens talked about it, too. Like, he doesn't do a lot of meet and greets and stuff like that because he deals with a lot of anxiety. And I understand that. And as a front man, you almost have to keep yourself emotionally, like, available, in a sense, like, to have these conversations with fans because they love that. And at the lower level, like we are at, it's so important to create these meaningful connections with the community that you're trying to build. And eventually, you're going to play a festival and you're not going to meet and greet. Like, let's just be real here. You're going to play Warped Tour and you're going to be like, I'm going to go and do my thing. And that's that. And you're going to not see anybody. Like, I didn't meet anybody at Aftershock, and I went and seen hella bands. But it wasn't like they were available for that.
Yeah, only if you caught them walking around. The two bands that the one band that I talked to the most was Sons of the Swarm last year, because they were also at the Mortis of Inti merch booth, and that's where I was the whole time, basically.
Great dudes.
Yeah, so it was really awesome meeting like all of them and like continuously seeing them. But I ran into Will Ramos because he's walking by and he had his hood on and his hair was all in it, and like I'm just like standing. It was like right before doors open, and I'm just kind of saying, "Wait, you were there with me?" Yeah. We were just standing there, and then all of a sudden, like, he just kind of, like, he dropped something, he bent down to grab it, and you just see, like, all of his, like, spaghetti hair fall out. And,
like,
and yeah, but, like, nobody said anything.
Now
Like,
I know
we were
who
like,
you are.
oh, okay. But, and then, like, when he was walking back, he, like, walked past us, and we just said hi to him. But, like, sometimes that's all you need. Because when you were, and, like, I don't know, I could talk to anybody, whether I'm a front man or a bass player, I don't care. I don't shut the fuck up. That's my problem.
You're in the right place for that.
So like, but I've learned that just seeing the person or a person that you look up to, just seeing them that they're real is sometimes just enough.
Yeah, like it's crazy because you bring up Will, and people forget Will's been around for a long
Dude,
time.
Howie did that
Shore.
competition against him and won. That was a crazy thing.
From Never Bloom beat Will Ramos in a vocal like competition.
Yeah, a couple like years
and
ago.
this is just a local guy that we hang out with here.
Yeah.
Just a friend of ours.
They're playing Titan Fest. You should come out.
Yeah,
For sure.
they're tight.
No, maybe we can throw the flyer on the screen or something.
Yeah, we'll do that in time.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Chris is just gonna just
Let him cook.
right here. All right. Appreciate our producer Chris. He's behind the cameras, and we absolutely love him for this. But
Oh, yeah.
Will came out with To the Hellfire.
Yeah.
And I guess that goes into this next segment of making your mark, because Will kicked that door open as hard as he could.
He broke it off the hinges.
And he was like, I'm here.
Yeah.
This is me. I'm going to do the craziest thing no one's ever heard of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then everyone else is now trying to do crazy crap like him to get that shock and awe factor.
Yeah. But it's already went over. It's already done.
But
it already happened.
It's been done, but now you're repeating it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
people
a
are trying
difference.
to emulate it again.
Yeah.
How many people are like trying to come up with some new sound? Like Taylor Barber, what did he did? That gator like scream whatever thing.
Crazy
like,
shit.
It was like what?
I mean, you know what? That's interesting though, because with Will, like it seemed like that created a whole new level of attention for like new vocal sounds.
Yeah.
And people started experimenting, and then like, you know, like naming their screams, and people are figuring out some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Crazy, like you could do that. Every time I hear something new, like this garbled fucking weird sound, and I absolutely love it. But I mean,
I love it. I love it.
I absolutely
sick.
I mean, because like you have to get a little weird with it sometimes, and then
Yeah.
that's the part you post on TikTok or whatever, and you go viral because you have a brand new sound, you know. But like the point is, I think Will created like a whole new curiosity for people to push those boundaries.
that's a good way to put
It
it.
felt like it started there.
Ryan does something, and I'm like, it's like a cat purr like scream. It's that that he,
But
but he does it in the middle of a song, and I remember our first time I heard it, I was like, all of a sudden I heard this. I was like, what the hell was that?
And you see what you just did?
Yeah.
Your head just turned.
Yeah, I was like, what?
What?
And I just looked at him, and everyone else was like, what?
It doesn't
what
have
was
to be.
that?
It doesn't have to be difficult to do whatever it is that you're doing. It just has to be different and just kind of like.
Yes.
That's it. And so like when I did it, I was in the studio and David was like, "That's stupid," and then I did it. And Nick was like, "Okay, I kind of like that." He's like, "What was that?" And I was like, I just wanted to be different. Like I just wanted to add a noise. Like I didn't know what else to put on this part.
Yeah, I mean, like Tyler himself is kind of known for like the moose style vocals that he does. Right.
I'm like, whatever that.
And-
I can't emulate what he does.
Dude, that
He's
and-
just gnarly.
And to this day, I mean, because he has a whole range, obviously, but that one particular vocal that he does is I still haven't heard it replicated.
no one does it. No one.
It's unique to him.
Yeah.
Very much so, and he has, you know, like there's people who follow him specifically because that caught them.
Yep.
Right.
And then they find out all these other things about him that, you know, that he's talented and, you know, funny and all this shit. But that vocal's very well known. I mean, it's a cool thing when you can define yourself that way, you know?
Yeah, and well, it's like Jay from Reminiscence and Sean from Decare, we were both talking about it, and he was just like, dude, your mid-range, like, harsh, like, vocal style that you do, you're so easy to pick out of a crowd of vocalists. He's like, because you're unique. You had to put a different twist to it. I was like, dude, it took me forever to figure that out.
I still prefer Greg's old school scream vocal that he used to do.
You mean my Brian Garrison knockoff?
Bro, no, dude, whatever you did, I don't know if you've heard the first like 2 songs that he did before it was like actually a moment's notice.
Probably. I mean,
Silver Lining 1 and
Endless Waltz.
Endless Waltz.
Yeah.
Greg
oh
does.
yeah, okay.
Greg does
Yeah.
the vocal style on that. I still love. I'm like,
I've
still like
tossed
it.
around the idea of being like, I want to start like an internet project thing, kind of like hardcore style, like kind of like Knock Loosey kind of style. Like
If you
throne.
got it, you know,
and
why
like just
not?
do that as a studio. It's just so hard to emulate that consistently over time, like even live. It's just, I don't know how Brian does it. Like, to be real with you, like he
that's a man.
He huh?
that's a man.
Dude, he say whatever you want about Knock Loose's vocals. Try to do it for an hour long. It is so hard. I did it for 30 minutes and was like, yeah, that ain't it.
Yeah.
It was
Dude is
too hard.
aggressive.
It's really hard to do. It's like
Yeah.
to replicate that sound
they
is
do-
really hard.
They do a lot. They do a lot of shows.
Lot.
Yeah, that's very taxing. I mean, and honestly, I feel like people with Brian Garris, they're discovering that he's got more than he's even let on about. Because you remember on Jimmy Kimmel when he dropped that pig squeal?
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
And it was massive. Dude, it sounded.
Knocked Loose does not call for that. It's something he sprinkles into a live show. And I'm like, God damn. Sent a shiver down my spine, bro.
I mean, that's the whole idea, though. Like, you like
blowing people's hair away.
yeah,
know?
you have to really get somebody's attention. You have to get their attention somehow. No matter what anybody says, you can talk crap about any of these artists, but like
They're doing it.
they're doing it.
They're
People
That-
want to say that the halftime show was the worst halftime show they've seen. I'm like, homie, I think you missed it. He's big enough to do it.
Yeah.
We don't even have that.
I want to like intersect. That's cool.
Yeah.
Because you guys keep bringing up like making your mark.
Yeah.
Oh, we will be alive.
Making your mark. So with standing out, what's something that's different? I guess to say, I'm gonna make this about me. All right.
Absolutely. You're the guest.
Talk about yourself.
Oh no. So like when it's like, oh, you have to do something different, you have to stand out, or whatever. Like I'm a very like mid-level vocalist, and I'm saying that just because I'm still on my journey. I've only been doing this for 3 years. But I thought, how could, and I don't want to cut corners, but how do I get there faster? Well, the first show we did was Titan Fest. So in my mind, I thought, how could I level myself up? I'm 32 now, so that's also why I'm trying to like go faster.
Yeah,
so
of course.
I could
An existential pressure. Is
yeah,
a little bit.
basically, yeah. So how could I ramp up everything like as fast as I can? You know, drop a full-length album, start my own festival, fucking start working with the best people I know, and also try to learn how to be vocals. All at the same time.
In 3 years, like that's just who just does that? Like it's like, okay, yeah.
Well, like that's my point.
Incredible.
Well, I'm not trying to like not boasting myself, but I'm saying my point is that like I had to level up. I had to step up and lose relationships to make sure that my career or my goals or my milestones that I wanted was set, and I wanted it. And so when I say like the thing that makes Titan stand out is Titan Fest, 100%. People are like, oh, dude, like, I know this band, they have their own festival. Boom, now you can't think of one without the other.
It just helps that
well,
what is it, cognitive...
Dissonance?
No, it's where you're basically just constantly... I'm not that smart, guys.
Okay, well, I'll look at it this way. If I said, stay sick, what do you think of?
Oh, bro.
Stay sick? Franz.
Franz, Attila. Like,
There you go.
Spite.
Like...
There you go.
So
So there's
many-
all...
Stay sick and Attila specifically.
Exactly.
I see your point. Yeah.
So when you think of one thing, you think about the other. And that's
Right.
what I decided to do. I was like, how could I make people always think about us with
that
something else?
familiarity you're talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I didn't learn this from anyone as in like somebody told me this. It was just, how do I find a need, fill a need? Local
it just makes
bands
sense.
never play festivals. I'll start my own. I'll bring as big bands as I could afford to put on this bitch, and I'll put a bunch of local bands on that are hard workers that fucking want to do something bigger than themselves. And so I don't know if you guys want to talk about the whole how I've decided to do the festival things or how I'm running it,
Totally.
but
I think that goes into this like, in like this being more of like the final segment of this podcast is really just like you making your mark and how you're going to do this, like what you're actively doing for yourself, because 3 years in anybody who's trying to be a vocalist, the first time you do it,
it's terrifying.
The first time you do it live and you kind of figure it out,
Oh my goodness.
holy crap, you will mess up.
Yeah.
So for 3 years to have so much success like you're having, because you blank slated your band and went from ground up.
Yeah, I had to
With
restart.
100,000 streams on some of your music, like over 6K monthly listeners, like you clearly have done the work.
Yeah, well, we've jumped, like when, we first launched the record, we were sitting at like 20-something thousand, which I didn't realize until you pointed it out when you were like, oh, how do you do the discovery mode or whatever? I was like, I don't know. And then me and you were looking up the stats, and I was like, oh, I guess at one point we had like 20,000 people listening to us. Didn't even realize it. So we've dropped back down, but that's because we haven't done anything besides like what we have out. But seeing that number stay there, and I haven't done anything besides like announce the fest or whatever, that helps me know that people fuck with us. That means like,
Totally.
it's not a big number, but it's a relevant number and it's a real number. So, and even with like, we have a couple songs that still only have like 5,000 or 6,000 streams. Not that big deal. Then I have a couple that have like over 100K, but that helps me write the next song. Because now I know what people like, and now I know what people don't like.
Cater to your audience.
Exactly.
Because when you're a new band, you are discovering your audience for the first, year that you're doing it. At least you figure out what hits.
Yeah.
You figure out what you resonate with, because, in terms of making your mark, when you start a band or a company, anything.
Yeah.
You have to figure out what it is that makes you unique. Like,
Yeah.
what
Your
makes you
brand.
different? Like, who are you? What are you? those
Why should
questions
they give you the time?
those questions have to be answered, and you have to, you have to pump yourself in a way that carries zero shame.
Right.
You have to be
gotta be
confident with it,
vulnerable.
because who's gonna believe in you if you don't believe in yourself? So you have to, like, bravado, ego, to a certain point is not a turnoff for me. Like, I want to know that you fuck with what you do.
Yeah.
Right. You got to be confident in what you do. There's a fine line between like being egotistical and being really confident in what you're doing. You have to own it. You have to own it. And if you don't,
Confidence is quiet, by the way.
it's quiet.
It's something that you can feel.
Bro, ask Greg how long it took me to actually tell him who was playing Titan Fest this year.
Oh God.
He
long?
didn't
Listing
know.
off the
He didn't
names?
know until we were about to announce it.
Yeah, and I was like, dog, what is going on? Like, and I'm like, I'm gonna be the production manager, and I have no idea what's happening right now.
And
Goodness.
it's what I've learned to keep my mouth shut because I don't want to slip up and say something too soon, because I did that in 2024, where I announced the festival when there was like some shit happening with a member in a different band, and then with another one, like there was like drama, and I was like, this has fucking nothing to do with me. Why am I dealing with this shit? And then they dropped off like in the matter of like within a day of announcing it. And
yeah,
yeah,
I remember
and,
this.
And I'm like, okay, well, the member that they had a problem with isn't in the band, and instead of talking to me about it, they just dropped off, like disappeared. They still actually never sent me my ticket, so they technically owe me like, $2,000 because they have $2,000 worth of tickets. So,
Whoa.
you know who you are. You actually owe me. You never sent me my tickets back.
Y'all gotta do good business out here, yo.
Your reputation is
Oh yeah.
everything.
I want to say this one thing. This is the one thing I really want to say, and I want bands to really understand this. All the promoters talk. So
They do.
And I'm
I work at a venue, dude. They all talk.
yeah, and I'm gonna take the boot out of my mouth when I say this. A lot of promoters hit me up now that I'm doing this, and they always ask me, what does this band turn out? I have every band I've ever worked with. I have all their ticket sale counts. I know what they pull. I have all that.
You keep a master file?
Oh yeah, I have
Good
three.
man.
I have three. I have one on my phone, and then I have the 2 sheets on my computer.
Yeah, there's local bands. This man is looking out for you.
This
He's
is
creating your resume for you.
Okay, every band that you know what? You
Keep
could ask.
track of it.
You could ask
Yep.
other bands that have asked us, like, "Oh, how do I get on?" Or they'll just send me all their shit, and I'll say, "Yo, thanks for submitting us. Send me your EPK, your show history sheet, and the most recent song that you closest sound to right now. Send that to my email." That's what I asked for.
That's across the board, though.
Yeah.
That's.
But
that's
nobody
normal.
tells bands this until they're at a different
Yeah.
level. I only know this because of Jay told me this. But then as soon as Jay told me it, you were telling me, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
so it's very universal that this is what's asked, but no one tells bands that.
No.
So I tell bands that, and then I send them what ours looks like, and they're like, wow, you really have everything dialed. I was like, I have every number from every price,
have to
every
be-
ticket. That way, when it says Titan headlines, they go, oh, they made $4,000 in ticket sales because they headlined, they ran the event, etc. Now the companies that I'm working with go, this is what I could see this band doing.
And
that's how I
for like
choose.
local bands or bands that are just starting, guys. Like, and not saying that like Ryan and I are like the biggest bands in the world, but we
No.
do have a lot of experience in talking to a lot of artists. And I
Yes.
will say, you have to take this as seriously as you possibly can, and don't take anything personal, because
I was looking at that for the longest time.
everything at this level is so different, and like we're not even big right now, and it's so different. Like the pacing's different, the information you need is different. A lot more people are going to ask, and you're going to get a lot more no's than yeses. Do not take it like to heart. You're going to get no's. We got no'd 6 times this year already. And people in the local scene like that I know that personally like mess with our music and are also in bands, they're like, you guys are crushing it. I'm like, no, we're not.
Yeah, if you saw my emails of no's, you'd be
would-
like, damn, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
we get
Yeah,
told no more than yes.
Yeah.
The ratio is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Nuts.
my day job is in sales, so I understand the world of rejection. Like, what we're doing with any goal, any project is just mining for gold. you try this, you try that, you try this over here, and most of it is not going to work. And then boom, you find something that works.
Yeah.
And you're just constantly searching for what works, and you stack those things on top of each other, and then after a while, you have something that people are envious of, like that, that is worthy of being looked up to.
Yeah.
It's just a process of trial and error, and it can take place over the course of years when nobody's paying attention, and then when you finally get there, what do they call you?
Sell out.
An overnight success.
Oh, that, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, that or
Sell
sell out,
out too. They both apply, you know?
They're like, oh, they blew up out of nowhere. Dog, you just haven't seen the last 10 years of hard work that
Yeah.
they put in.
Yeah.
Like,
No, like, what makes you think you deserve this? I can pretty much spell it out for you.
Do you want to see all my bank statements? Because they've been negative.
I've been in debt for years.
Yeah.
do you want to see the receipts of how many damn Uncrustables I have ate
My
on
goodness.
tour? Like,
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'm tired of Uncrustables on tour.
You got an Uncrustable? I was eating those like $1 bag of chips.
Hey,
Oh, bro.
hey, Wendy's Biggie Bags.
Yeah.
Or the 4 for 4 or something. That is the cheapest fast food you can find
Taco
anywhere.
Bell.
Yeah, Taco Bell. So David,
Yeah.
my guitar player, his mom is like a regional like manager for Taco Bell. So she gave us a stack like this big, and so we got free Taco Bell the whole.
Oh
fucking
yeah, we
tour.
did. We were
Yeah.
on tour together, and we all ate Taco Bell for a whole tour. It was
all
perfect.
free.
What a
dog.
cheat code.
Oh,
I
it was
know.
So
Oh
great.
my God. My sister brought me a $50 Starbucks gift card on tour one time. That like made the next week of my life just amazing.
Yeah.
Heaven. I got a breakfast sandwich and a coffee every day. I wasn't fucking paying for it.
Oh my god,
That's so
that's
great.
It's
nice.
little things like that. Actually, I should mention at this point that people who come to shows, a lot of people do get it, and artists appreciate more than you know when you bring us gifts
Oh
to the
my
show.
god! Like
Yeah.
snacks, food, anything like that. We're like,
anything.
dude, yes.
You can spend $10 and bring us something that's gonna make our day.
Yeah.
Like just,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a case of water, like
Bro, yeah.
dude wipes,
Dude
little
wipe,
things
yeah.
are like. Actually, Tyler has a reputation as he's a phenomenal cook, and
That's what I've heard.
a lot of Traders fans know this about him, so they will bring us food to grill out back behind the venue when it calls for it.
Bruh.
Like if we are shown up to a venue where like, yeah, there's a back area where there's room for us to set up. He brings a Blackstone grill on tour,
Tight.
and there's a lot of Traders diehards that know that, if you bring it, we'll grill it, and then you can kick it with us and, have a little cookout behind the show.
You know what's
like,
tight.
So what's crazy is my drummer. He is one of the lead baking people in California.
no way.
Yes.
Okay.
He makes the one he met him in my living room.
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
okay.
So he makes like all kinds of cakes and pastries and shit. I want to put him and Tyler in a room together.
Yeah.
So bad. But another thing about food is Sergio. He dude.
Oh, yeah, Sergio and
Sergio
I
taught
get
me how to
down
make
on food.
Yeah, Sergio taught me how to make some good ass tacos.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, actually.
Sergio and I are the cooks in our band, but
Oh yeah, you have to have
Get yourself a
vegan
grill.
yeah, we have
Cook
one.
on the road. That's
We
a
do.
great way to take care of yourself.
Yes.
Good on you guys.
Yes. Very much so. Like, I'm very grateful for this first podcast, guys, because like honestly, like this is I feel like this is necessary. We have to talk about this stuff, and it's something that we've all been really like we like we said, the information's there, but just not a lot of people talk about it.
Yeah.
And with this being the first podcast, I'm really grateful for us all being here and all of us communicating a lot of these things that if you're a local band and you're listening to this, like we're giving in this podcast a lot of the ins and outs of how to do this. And it's not going to be easy. It won't be easy at all. You're going to get tried. And all the laughing and the stories we're talking about, we can laugh now, but in the moment it was terrible.
Fucking suck.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's kind of a laugh through your pain situation. I mean,
yeah.
and I don't know if we can really, we can't tell you how to do it, but there's a lot of things that if you go into it with, certain knowledge, that you'll at least understand that, this is just how it goes. Like,
Yeah.
just keep screwing up. Just keep screwing up until
Don't get
you
canceled.
figure out how to. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
yeah.
Just don't do
And
anything
then
that's going to get you canceled and you'll
Right.
be all right.
Just-
It'll suck, but you'll be all right.
be the type of person that people want to be around,
Right.
Like, just position yourself as an inspiration for people and, just figure it out through the process of trial and error. Basically, do not be afraid of that process because it beats a lot of people out of even trying to really make something happen. But
Yeah.
you can get to where we've been able to get to by just operating off of pure belief.
Yeah,
And that's what we're here to hopefully help some people with.
Hell yeah.
Chris is
Well,
just-
Ryan, you got anything left for us? You know, anything new coming up that you want to talk about before we end off here?
Well, before that, there was a couple things I wanted to say real quick. So, just because like we veered away from the festival talk a little bit.
Yeah.
So, because like we had like a hard stop almost about like you need to have like this, and this for requirements to play or whatever. And I wanted like, and then you were gonna say something, and I thought it was gonna go in a different direction. So I'm gonna say what I thought you were gonna say. So, if you're a smaller band and you feel like, oh, I don't have a long history of shows yet or anything, don't let that stop you from still trying, because
Yes.
to talk about like how I do the festival, I want to bring, the whole concept of it is to bring bands that might never play a festival the opportunity to play a festival. And so your band might have, might just like, hey, we've only played 3 shows. Okay. You might have only played 3 shows, but I've been to 1 or 2 of your shows and you guys did great. I saw that there was a crowd. You guys are all really nice. I would love to have you on. At that point, just know that like you are not a big band, but you still got the opportunity because you're a good band. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you're like a
Bottom
good
line,
band.
be a good band.
Be a good band,
Yeah.
all around.
And that's not like music. That's like personalities. Like,
Personality.
be kind to everyone, dude. Like, everyone's going to take everything very differently.
Yeah, and like
You
with
just got to worry about what you say, what you do, and just be good to people.
well, I watch how I listen to how the band I want to say the front man. Well, not really the front man, because like sometimes like you'll have like a guitar player or drummer have a mic. So what band members tell the crowd, I pay attention to that, because it really does matter if you have a vocalist up there spewing some really negative ass hatred kind of shit. I could
Unless the music
choose.
calls for that, where it's aggro. But
Yeah, well, I mean, if the event is for that, hey, that's fine. But at what I do, I don't want someone being like, "Yo, I want y'all to fucking, do some heinous ass shit or something." I'll tell somebody, "Yo, fucking like throw down or circle pit or whatever." But I've heard some people be, say some really unhinged shit, and I'm like,
I just
why
said
would you say
the
that
person
at all?
to your left and right is your enemy now. Start hitting.
yeah,
What? I'm sorry.
I think, what? Here's a good example. Leave politics fucking out of it.
God,
Once you
yes.
start being like, if you
Yep.
voted for this person, I hope you get fucking killed. Like, I don't want that shit being spewed out. And it's only because
It's just
this
so
is,
unnecessary, guys.
Yeah.
Like,
and not to bring it up, I'm just saying
no,
that's just
it
something I
doesn't-
don't want.
it doesn't serve.
It doesn't make you
this.
seem hard.
No,
Exactly.
It doesn't put anybody in a good mood. You
Yep.
are an entertainer
Yep.
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless
Make people
your
have fun.
Yeah, unless your music is all about the government, then that most likely means you're in a punk band.
Oh, I mean, like, stick to your guns.
Rage Against the Machine or something.
Rage Against the Machine. Like, if it calls for it, by all means. Like, that's your niche.
If that's your shtick, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
If that's
sometimes it is. That's all right.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's fine.
Art is about free expression. I mean, at the
Right.
end of the day,
But just
so
know you're gonna deal with the ramifications of those actions.
people
Yeah.
are going to react how they want to react.
Yep.
So if you're, there's certain artists specifically that I can think of that they sign up to deal with that heat because that's just how they are.
kinda. Yeah.
They stir shit up, and that's it's okay if they want to do that, but they tune out all the hate that comes from that, and
That's thick
act
skin.
like-
That's thick skin.
that's thicker than most people have.
Yeah.
And whether you support any particular person or not, everyone's going to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
And just don't get mad that they're a big deal. Like, just leave them alone.
Just let them do their
Like-
thing.
Silence.
You-
Silence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't be doxing people. Don't be
no.
don't spend your time calling anybody out. It's like, just focus on yourself. Because that
You're gonna be so much happier.
Yeah.
You'll be so much happier.
drown out
Promise.
the noise. Yeah, and focus on your own craft.
Yeah.
Because that's all you can control, really.
Yeah.
You people spend their lives angry when they wish that they could change something that they don't like about somebody else. Whether that's in a relationship or just somebody that you see with a large following.
Preach.
It's so exhausting that when you turn all that off and you just bring it all back to center. Just you. You and your loved ones.
Yeah.
Of course. But, you know, like when you, it's like swimming in a lake as opposed to a stormy ocean. Mm-hmm. It's just, because at that point, your world is in your control, you know?
Yeah.
So that's, we're trying to help people
just
find their way in this, I guess, music game, anything else that you do, you know? These conversations are necessary, and they're a lot of fun to have. Hopefully we learn something. Hopefully you learn something. And we'll be back at some point soon with another one.
Yeah. To plug in anything at the end, like you were saying earlier.
Yeah.
Just the festival's August 8th and 9th. It's 25 bands. We have a new album coming out right before it. So one night we're doing one album playthrough all the way through, and the next night it's going to be the whole brand new album.
Sick.
And yeah, I mean, it's only $30 for 2 days.
Not bad.
That's a steal, y'all.
Yeah.
Get at it while it's cheap, because it's going to be more expensive in
And
2
it'll
years.
probably sell out again this
Yeah.
year, like it did last year.
We have.
Yeah.
I think I said how many tickets were already sold to you guys. There was like a little over 100 tickets already sold.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
is within the first week and a half of this thing being announced.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this: it sold out the week of the event last year, and right now we're at over 100 tickets sold. So yeah.
Ooh. What's the cap on that?
Well, the cap is technically whatever we want to make it, because I can move the stage back. But right now, it's technically only 600 per day.
All right. Well, y'all know there are only 600 spots for Titan Fest.
Yeah.
If you don't get there,
Yeah, and last year we had
Next year.
Yeah, last year it sold out. So last year was 350, and then we had an extra 100 people walk up, and that was us just seeing how it would go. Now it's blown out of the water. Everyone's talking about it, at least over here, obviously. But I have people already bought tickets from the other side of the U.S. that are flying out.
Love it.
So
Well, best of luck to you on that, man.
Yeah, man.
I will, if I'm not on tour, I will be there this year. I haven't been there yet.
I don't
but
have a choice. I'm working.
production manager. So you'll very likely see all of us
Yeah,
at
man.
Titan Fest.
I appreciate you guys.
Well, thanks, guys, for tuning in. We really appreciate you guys, and this is Make Your Mark.